wonderful Republican hypocrisy. So Mark Sanford, when he was running for governor of South Carolina, criticized the Democratic governor at the time and said, you know, this guy, I'll tell you what, he takes expensive trips and he charges the government of South Carolina far too much money, and he is absolutely unacceptable, and I am going to be a fiscal conservative, and I'm not going to have any of this. This Governor Jim Hodges is the worst of the worst. Okay. So, and then he gets into office, right? And for the first year, he totally does what he promised. Fair is fair. Huge story in the Associated Press and again in Politico on this as well, okay? So, and they got his records and they got all of his travel records, and he passes not laws, but regulations inside the government saying, hey, if you're going to go on a trip and there's two of you, assuming you're two guys or two girls or whatever, you got to stay in the same room because we want to save money for the South Carolina taxpayer. You can't fly business or first class, you got to fly coach. And he has these regulations, and he follows his own regulations, right? He flies coach to a number of places, etc., right? Great. All right. Look at that. Then once people stop paying attention after the first year, he goes house. In his last 6.5 years, he's charged $468,000 for travel and hotel expenses. Now, look, he might be traveling, that might not be a big number. But when you break it down, it is a big number. He'll take flights for $12,000. Why? His ass has got to fly first class. Now, he'll go on trips with the Commerce Department. The Commerce Department will follow the rules, and they'll sit back and coach. And he'll be like, oh, please, I'm the governor of South Carolina. And he'll go grab the $12,000 ticket. Now, the guys, and now it's an international trip, so the ticket itself, even in coach, is a lot of money. It's over $1,000, nearly $1,900. But there's a big difference between, let's say, call it $2,000. Big difference between $2,000 and $12,000, right? And on one trip to Tokyo, yes, he stayed with some other guy. Okay, I'll leave that alone. Okay, I don't even believe in that policy. You're grown-ass men. Stay in different rooms. Okay, but afterwards, of course, no, top hotels in Washington, all around the country, all around the world. His wife, without his wife, as we found out later. Okay, so now people are saying, hey, wait a minute. Not only are you reimbursing the government for the trip that you took to your mistress in Argentina, okay, yeah, you should do that, but what happened to your pledges about fiscal responsibility and how you cracked everybody else's skull to make sure they follow the rules and how you blamed the former Democratic governor for doing these things and then you wound up doing it 10 times worse? Well, you know, look, again, fair is fair. 10 times worse is an exaggeration. It's one of those exaggerations, but he did at least as much as Governor Hodges did as well. So, are we surprised? Are we surprised? But the flip side is, look, I tell you 100 times, because the rest of the media takes these politicians at their word, and it drives me crazy because they're far too credulous about it. They're like, well, I mean, that's the governor of South Carolina. He wouldn't lie or anything like that. Of course he would. He's a politician. So, and look, there are more of these cases these days with Republicans, and their hypocrisy meter is off the chart. But as you get more and more Democrats in charge, you think Democrats won't do this? Of course they will. And if they get busted doing it, believe me, we're going to bring it to you. Right now, it happens to be a lot of Republicans, and in this case, it happens to be Mark Sanford. But what a lying sack of crap.
Watch more clips at theyoungturks.com.